Well, you're definitely worth the wait, so it's okay. I have a question for you about the Emergency Safety and Security Grant. Did you get your notification letter yet from HUD?
No, we did not, but Michael had, suggested that I email them and ask, for the letter, but I haven't heard back from them yet.
Oh, you haven't heard back from them. Okay. When you do, please let us know what they say. If we need to request a debriefing from them, um, depending on what their letter says, then we'll know how to proceed.
Okay,
All
alright.
right. All right. Do you have any questions for me before I get started on your housing hazards grant?
No, I do not.
Okay. So the purpose for this meeting is for us to have the kickoff for the Housing Related Hazard Capital Fund Program Grant. And I'm going to do a brief overview for you of the grant
Okay,
program, touching on some basics. And then I'll talk about what's needed for our grant application package. And then we'll get started.
okay.
All right. Are you the only one in the call, or is there anyone else with you?
No, I'm the only one.
You're the only one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the grant due date is May the 25th, 2021. And the purpose of the grant is to allow public housing authorities the opportunity to request funding from HUD to identify and address housing hazards that are at the housing authority. So a question I have for you is, what is or are your housing hazards?
We have, well, I like to have, we can check, one building checks for radon, and it was found there. And, we have other, townhome buildings that I would like, identified, as to whether they have radon or not.
So in the past, you did check for radon and it was identified that you do have radon?
Yes,
Okay. What type of check was that? What type of testing was that?
I don't know, it was part of an environmental for the, we're gonna be going through uh, the RAD program.
Okay. So during the
Required.
environmental review, it was shown that the property had radon. So
Yes,
we are going to request a copy of that environmental review, just the portion that addresses the radon, because environmental reviews can be very large documents.
right,
So just the portion that talks about the radon, okay?
uh-huh.
Okay.
And then, there's one building that, we need sprinklers in, the fire suppression sprinklers.
Okay.
And then, let's see, four buildings that need, a whole new fire alarm system. They're inoperable and, the fire alarms don't work.
Okay. Do you have the need for the fire sprinklers and the fire alarm systems anywhere in your PHA plan? Any inspection report? The city, county come out and suggest that you do get fire
Yes,
sprinklers
we
and
do have
fire?
that.
Okay, what do you have?
We have, well, we have from the fire department that the fire alarm has to be replaced at one of the buildings. We had several months where we had a 24-hour fire watch, because it was down and we could not find a part for the, fire alarm system because it's so old. They had to fabricate one.
Do you have any written requests or report that says that it's recommended that you do get fire sprinklers? Maybe in a physical needs assessment or,
I think it's in our READ, our inspection by HUD, and by the fire department.
okay, all right. Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. So, we identified your housing hazards, the radon, fire sprinkler, need for fire. Well, the hazard is no fire suppression or inadequate
Right.
fire suppression. So, fire sprinklers and the fire alarm systems. Okay. We have identified that you're going to provide proof that you need these things with the radon environmental review, the fire alarm replacement request from the fire department, and the fire alarm replacement request from your PHA plan. The fire sprinkler request from HUD REAC. We'll use those four pieces of documentation to support our argument that we need these things. Okay? So the grant award amount is 20 million. HUD says that any one applicant can request a minimum of $10,000 and a maximum of $4 million. The period of performance is September the 1st, 2021. So HUD is um, putting themselves out there to say that they expect a quick turnaround time, because if they expect to have you start your program by September the 1st, 2021, they would have had to announce the grant awardees by then before you can start. And then the estimated and grant date is September the 1st, 2025. So it is a 4-year grant term with 4 12-month budget terms. So what HUD has said is that they'll give you 24 months to obligate a minimum of 90% of the grant award, and the next 24 months you must expend everything. But of course, you can do it as quickly as you want to. Okay? Eligible applicants are public housing authorities with non-RAD public housing developments. Also, troubled housing authorities can apply. They opened it up to troubled, and even moving to work housing authorities can apply. Ineligible applicants are any applicant type that is not a housing authority. Strictly housing authorities can apply for this grant. So some limitations on the budget, the grant request funding, is that the grant can only be spent on hard costs for capital improvement to address your housing hazards. So only the hard costs they will consider. Also, properties that is currently under a CHAP agreement is not eligible. Do you have any properties under a CHAP agreement currently?
I'll have to check on that because we might, that would be in our development department, I'll have to check with them.
Okay, so please check, and any public housing development that has a signed CHAP agreement, we cannot list it in the application. So we're going to request that you identify the developments that we should include in the grant application, and please do not include any development that has a CHAP agreement. Okay?
Okay.
All right. In addition to no CHAP properties, HUD says that any public housing development that is in your 5-year PHA plan and scheduled for demolition cannot be proposed to be served. So make sure that you don't have any properties that's scheduled for demolition in your 5-year PHA plan.
Okay.
All right. All right, that is the end of my program overview for you. Do you have any questions before I move on to what we will need for our grant application package?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right, so the application review will include 102 maximum points that we are going after. The first review is for eligibility. They're going to check to make sure that we're eligible for the grant. So things like the CHAP agreement and making sure that it's an eligible property type, they'll do first. And then they'll review the application, our response to their review criterions, and based on our response, they will score the application. So, it is a competitive grant, so the applications that score the highest will win the grant. All right. Line item 13, the first thing I will request is your grants.gov username and password. Line for grants.gov, we have, unlike the ESSG, where we emailed the grant application off to the Office of Capital Improvement, the Office of
Oh,
Capital.
I'll have to get registered on there. I am not. So.
You're not registered
Yeah,
on
you're
that?
not registered on grants.gov.
Do you have any grants through HUD or anywhere else?
No, just our capital grant that we get every year that's done through the lot system, but not through grants.gov. No.
Okay. Hold on a second. All right, thanks for holding. Okay, so you can get registered on grants.gov. We submitted the Ross grant in 2019. So I know you have a username and password somewhere. Someone has one. So what we do is we just need to get the updated username and password in order to submit this one.
Okay.
All right. Line item 14 and 15 you have. So if you have a grant, you definitely have Duns and Sam. So not applicable for you because you already have it. Okay. Line item 16, the SF 424 application for federal assistance. We will complete that. Line item 17, the SFLLL lobbying activities, we will complete that. Line item 18, the HUD 2880 applicant recipient disclosure update report form, we will complete that. Line item 19, the HUD 50075.1, we will complete that. Question I have for you, especially with dealing with the radon, do you think you would want to request funding to hire a technical assistant or consultant that is familiar with how to advise you to identify and remove radon?
Um,
Or do you believe
I don't know.
the housing authority has the expertise in-house, maybe through your maintenance staff, depending on their background and experience, that they can
Oh,
manage it? Or do
oh, they
you,
don't.
okay, so we're going to want to put a request in for additional funding to not additional, but we want to request funding for the
That's part of
technical
it.
assistant. Yes. All right. Rating factor one, the hazard, we spoke about already. Rating factor two, the hazard evaluation, we spoke about. Rating factor two, the need for the grant, which is the grant narrative, we will complete for you. Line item 23, rating factor three, soundness of approach and the cost estimate. So a couple of questions I have for you. Do you currently have a cost estimate for the radon testing and resolution?
Yes, I think, yeah, I've got, well, the department has that, and that's, we actually never get a chance to look at it.
Okay, so I'm going to request that cost estimate of what it's going to cost to do the testing for the radon in all the public, well, I should say all the units that you have identified, all the development, okay?
Okay.
What about the fire sprinklers? Have you received a cost estimate to install those?
Yes, I think it just came through today, but, I was off the beginning part of it because I was ill. There, I haven't had a chance to get out the part yet, but I do believe that it came today, yes.
Okay, all right, we're going to request that from you.
Okay.
What about the fire alarm systems? Have you received a cost estimate to get those done?
We've requested it, we have not received it yet.
All right. When do you think you'll receive it?
Probably by Monday at the latest.
Okay, that's great. All right, we'll request that from you as well. Okay, perfect. Rating factor four, the grant program office will do a past performance review on the housing authority, and it includes two things. It includes audit report findings, so
Excuse me.
they will reach out to your local field office and try to find, well, not try to find out, they will find out if you have any OIG audit findings or any audit report findings. So they're going to do
We don't
that.
have it.
Perfect. Are you a high performer?
I'm sorry.
Do you know if the housing authority is a high performer, standard performer?
Standard.
Okay, all right, standard performer. Okay, perfect. All right, and then the second part of the review that they're going to reach out to your field office for is for timely locks reporting, and that's an 8-pointer right there in line item 24. So what we need to make sure of, what I need you to make sure of, is that all reporting that's due to your local field office is current. And even if the reporting isn't current, that the housing authority is on track with any corrective action plan. So you can have issues, but as long as you're working your corrective action plan and you're on time with that, that's okay. So please reach
We
out.
don't have any issues.
No issues, okay. Also, make sure that all monies are have been drawn down in lots that needs to be drawn down in lots. So this program,
It is.
okay, perfect. All right. Line item 25 is the HUD 2996. I'm pretty sure that some of your properties are in an opportunity zone. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we'll get 2 bonus points if the properties are in an opportunity zone. So that is perfect. All right. Line item 26 we won't need because we'll already get our bonus points from the opportunity zone. The letter we won't need. Okay. The last item is the section 3 program that you have. And I want, you can even reach out to whoever the section 3 person is at the housing authority, if it's not you. And have them answer these questions. So, two questions I'm going to discuss with you now. If you look line item 7, they ask the contact information and qualifications for a staff person who will be responsible for the day-to-day implementation of section 3. So whoever the contact person is, for the section 3 program at the housing authority, you just put their name, title, email address, and telephone number. Then if you look at number 1, they say, what's the types and amounts of employment, training, and contracting opportunities to be generated as a result of the proposed grant activities? So, okay, this is a capital improvement grant. Let's say hypothetically, we do request the 4 million. That's a hypothetical. And so HUD is asking you now, with this did I say 5 million or did I say 4 million?
4.
4 million. Thank you. HUD is basically asking you, you've just requested 4 million to do capital improvement at the housing authority. What type of opportunities are you going to create for either section 3 businesses or section 3 residents? And so, of course, you won't really know. Say you're planning now that you'll probably have 3 contractors because you have 3 cost estimate. But during the actual implementation, you may split the radon work over 3 contractors, and you may split the fire sprinklers over another 3 contractors. So you don't know, but you are giving them your best guess to these questions. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, because you won't really know at this point. All right. So that concludes the kickoff meeting. After this kickoff meeting, Mr. Means, who is on the call, I don't think I even said that he was on the call, I apologize. Mr. Means will send you an email listing all the documents that we're going to request from you. So the cost estimates, the proof that to show, to evidence that you believe you have this hazard, as well as the list of questions to help us with the narrative. So, Mr. Means, can you tell us when you think you can get this email to Beth?
Right, 4 to 4:30 p.m.
4 to 4:30? You're saying today?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. 4 to 4:30 standard, that's 3:30 central. All right. Question I have for you, based on the fact that Mr. Means will be sending the documents today, what date do you think that we can expect the documents back from you?
Monday afternoon.
Monday afternoon?
4 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. That is the 19th. All right, we'll just do COB. All right, Mr. Means, can you let me know, once we receive these on Monday, when do you think we can have a draft application back to Beth for her review?
I think May 3rd would be doable for a draft.
May 3rd? Okay. Perfect. All right, we'll do close of business for that one. Beth, is May 3rd okay with you?
May 3rd, is that what you said?
For a draft for your review?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, perfect, okay. All right, do you have any questions for us before we wrap up?
I do not.
Okay, well, if
No,
you
I'm
do,
good.
please send me an email or give me a call, and I'll be sure to get
Oh, absolutely.
right on top of it as soon as possible. And I
Yeah.
hope you feel better really soon.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're
Have a
welcome.
good day.
All right, you have a great day and a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, bye now.
Bye-bye.